Hi, how are you today? I'm Lee Aldridge with Soul Story Creative. We create connection in a digital world with branding with your website. But what happens before the website? A lot. I'm the co-founder, and we just love making you shine online by creating a brand story that attracts your ideal client naturally. So over these last few weeks in this series, Dare to Be Seen, we've taken you on a journey. We started with authenticity and why that's so important and actually the key to having an online presence that really connects. We talked about positioning. Who am I? What do I stand for? And why should you care? You remember that? If you didn't get to see those, then go back to our archives and all those videos are right there on the Facebook page. We brought in Stacy Domowski to talk about story and how story can make your messaging so much easier when you use that template. And then we talked about images, photography, branding photography specifically. And today we have a special treat. We're going to be talking about professional video production and when to use that and when to do it yourself. Like we're doing this ourselves with our smartphone, Facebook Live. But there's a real place for professional production video, and it's worth the investment. So our guest today is going to break that all down for us. But before we get started, let's go over a couple of little housekeeping things. Hey, Jeff, can you hand me that workbook right there? Thanks. Here's Jeff, my director of photography today. If you look in the post for this live show, there's a link for you to download this guide. And we've been following along through the whole series. It's a free gift to you, so please go ahead and download it. Just go to that link, soulstorycreative.com/live with SSS. And you can download this and use it going forward to increase your connection. The other thing is, since we're coming to a close with this Dare to Be Seen series, we only have one more next week, but we're going to be doing something else really fun. I'm excited about it. So if you want to know and keep in the loop, go ahead and click follow so you'll get notifications when we go live or as we're planning these. And please, today and in the future, feel free to put your questions in, comments, and ask us any questions. We are happy to answer. Any topics you want discussed, we'd be happy to look at those. Okay, so today our guest is Greg Windley with Handstand Productions. Greg has been the founder of Handstand Productions 30 years ago. He is our #1 professional video production company that we use and that we refer our clients to. Professional video production can be really expensive, right? We all kind of know that. And there's places for our smartphone. But when do we use professional video? And why do we even care about it in our marketing? Well, before we bring Greg on, I want to just go over a couple of stats. Did you know that 49% faster revenue growth year over year when you use video marketing in your plans? 49% year over year faster revenue growth. We're talking money. That's really cool. How about this? 1,200% more shares with video than text and images combined. That is so much reach. That means new leads, that means connection, and that means cash. So let's just get going. Let's bring Greg on. Come on in, Greg. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Lee.
This is great.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So we know video hugely accelerates our growth, our reach, our leads, but it's expensive, professional video. And so you and I are similar in that, we want to allocate our resources carefully. And when it comes to professional video, it's our bias that we just can't not use video in our marketing. So let's figure out how we can use professional video and when it's okay to do it ourselves. So, Greg, what would you say to us, what if I was even gonna consider professional video production, what would that process look like when I talk to a professional like you?
Well, every time you have an initial first meeting with a client, what you want to do is sit down and have like a discovery consultation with them and say, what are your goals? What do you want this video to do? Is it designed to train? Is it designed to brand? Is it designed to sell, lead generate? What is it you want it to do? Because a lot of people think right off the bat, well, I want it to do all those things.
Yeah, let's just do it all at once.
I want a video that does everything. It sales, it trains, it markets, it brands.
And it entertains.
And it entertains, yes. And so what we need to do is probably be a little more focused and try to just come up with the one key point for each video in the initial in your initial first pass.
Right, and just to determine what your goal is, what is your strategy that you're going to use the video for, and make sure that that's real, that it's going to work. I mean, we want it to be professional and we want it to work, right?
Right.
So what is the answer if we can't just make one big investment, like one big video, just let me throw $5,000 down and get it all done? What would be the best solution?
Well, I think what you want to try and do, especially in the internet age when attention spans are so short, is that you want multiple shorter videos, and each one does its own thing. It makes your website look richer, that you can say, oh, look, here's a video about the brand. Here's a video about that'll get lead generation, or
whatever the purpose,
whatever those products are or service is. There's a short little video for each one of those, and
instead of trying to do that big one honking one.
Exactly,
I gotcha. Yeah,
exactly.
And so if you have, for example, a homepage welcome video, I would want that to be professional, because that's my front door. That is the first place. That is my first impression. And I don't want to put any shoddy video on my homepage, right?
Right, absolutely.
And how long would that video be? That's what you're speaking to?
Well, I think 3 minutes would be a really long one. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
That 90 seconds to
sweet spot
to 3 minutes would be about where you want to be. You think about when you see a really good television commercial that's only 30 seconds long, and how much impact that can have, and how much information you can get in a well-produced 30-second spot.
Okay, so it's priceless.
It is. And so if you can keep yours to 90 seconds, 2 minutes, boy, you're really going to keep their attention. It's a hook.
And and so the purpose of our website, hands down, is when our visitor lands, is to get them to stay and explore further. It's not to sell them. It's not to sell them on me.
Right.
It's not to sell them on the bit. It's just to get them more interested and curious. So that is what that 90 seconds could do.
Yeah.
Right.
To get them to start digging deeper and deeper into your website.
So then we come into, I love to talk. I got to script my homepage video. Like it needs to be tight.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And
yes.
so would a professional production company be able to help me with that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, so that would be part of that whole needs assessment process that you would go through, and together, it's a collaborative thing.
Oh, we love collaboration here, don't we?
So maybe you give them an outline, and then from that outline, they come back to you with the first draft of the script. Together, you work it out. You go back, you make a few changes. You take another look at it. Probably by that third draft, it's ready to go.
And, you know, we talked about story a couple of 3 weeks ago. Does that come into play with a good, it would for me, because story is everything, as you know.
Story is everything. And
the story arc.
Everybody loves a story.
Yep.
I'd much rather sit and be entertained by a story than just be barraged with information and data, right?
Yeah, so I would expect my professional video production person to really understand that, and that is the fastest way to convey an idea, because we're hardwired for it, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not only am I getting professional equipment and production, but I have a director, I have a script writer, I have a director that helps me on camera, is what I'm speaking to. And
I don't want to burst your bubble, but you may not even be in that video.
right.
You know, that video on your homepage may or may not be about you.
Right. It
right?
could be
You may not even be
about
in
the
the video.
company.
It's the company, or it's the service, or it's the product.
Or our message.
Or your message,
And maybe
exactly.
my message is...
And so maybe you are in that video, and maybe you're not.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so let's move on. We've got that when we're engaging a really good professional video production company, like, why can't my cousin Jennifer just use her new GoPro? She's really good. She's been a photographer for a long time, and now she got this GoPro. So why couldn't she, like, do it for me?
And Jennifer might be really good at it. What did we see a lot of today? The barriers to entry into production are so much lower today than when I started in this business a long, long time ago. And so back in those days, it was literally, I'm not exaggerating, millions of dollars to have a state-of-the-art podcast production facility. Today, a laptop and a nice little DSLR, and you're in the production business. What you're going to be looking for is, does that person that you hire have the experience and have the skills to help you tell your story? So with those lower barriers, people are out there, making really interesting videos. YouTube is just filled with them, of exciting things, of horse racing or motorcycles,
or skiing,
snowboarding, those action things. And action is great to watch. It's not that hard to shoot, and you can edit it really snazzy, and it looks great. But does that person have those other skills? Are they able to help you tell your story? And
the business part of it.
And the business
part
of it.
I don't think Jennifer knows anything about business. I mean, she'd be relying on me.
Yeah.
And I know when I went to brand Soul Story Creative, because I'm a brand strategist, I couldn't do it. I needed somebody who knew branding, who knew messaging, and they could help me see my business in that light, instead of coming from everything that I have. So
absolutely. So
the same thing with you. I mean, that's why we love you, is because you're so thorough with understanding the business strategy, the marketing behind it. And that's what I'm interested in is your brand strategist. I want to make sure that your video company, production company, is going to provide what I see for you as your creative director. So,
how do we pick a video production company?
how do I go about that process?
Well,
I mean, they can ping me and I'll give them you. But what if somebody just has their favorite?
Well, and I think
hometown.
yeah, I think your best bet is if you know someone that can give you a referral. If you've got a friend or a colleague that has had a good experience with a video production company that's in your area, that's going to be your very best way. And if you don't have that, then you're probably going to go to the internet and do a little internet search and look up who's available in your neck of the woods to do that
Or
work.
Yelp rating or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you should be able to read some reviews and find out about them. And then I'd say you need to sit down and meet with at least 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I would too.
Build a relationship. You'll know if you think you can work together with that person and collaborate with them. And then you need to see examples of their work. You need to see their portfolio, and you need them to specifically define what their role was in that video that they're showing you.
Yeah.
What did you do in that one? Did you?
You mean the customer?
No, the video production.
The video production person, were they the producer or did they actually film it?
Exactly. Were you the cameraman? Were you the editor? Were you the producer? What role did you play in the creation of this little film? And because that's important. And
Because you want them to know what they're doing. If you're going to be investing $1,000, $5,000, $50,000, you want to know that they understand all aspects and they're not just a camera person who's now become a director, producer, whatever the rest of all those credits are in a movie.
right,
You
right,
know.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well, that's great, though. So when we're considering investing, like, what other considerations are they? And I just sort of touched on it. What goes into this video production? Because let me show you this, folks. This is what I'm using to film this Facebook Live. It's easy. And I've got a little portrait lens on my iPhone. But let's take a look at Greg's rig that he has right here for us. There's a little bit of difference between the phone and that big rig. How cool is that? See, as a professional photographer, I'm just like, that looks fun. So what else goes into this? Like, this is massive.
well, this is big. This is a cinema style camera. But what I think, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you know what your budget is. You have in your mind how much you can spend to produce and create your video.
And we'll say invest because of the value.
Exactly.
I don't think of it as spending. I think of it as a line item in my marketing plan.
Okay, I like that even more. So if you know you've got $1,000, you've got $5,000, you've got $50,000 to spend, then tell the producer that. Don't play the game of making them guess and come up with a budget for you. And then once they agree with you on that, make them show you examples of their work that they've done in that price range. And once again, find out what their role was in this video. So they said, here's one we did for client X that was, we did this for $2,500 and it concluded this, this, and this. Now here's one we did for client Z that was a $5,500 budget, and for that they got all of those things,
Maybe
plus
maybe
more.
2 cameras, like 2 angles, one coming here and one front.
It could be that. More
So then
locations,
you need 2 people.
more days of shooting, actors or not actors.
There's a lot of
there's all
variables.
sorts of things. The budget can go up really quickly, really easy.
And so then it becomes an exercise in value over the money, really, and how much can I afford? Like, I want to stretch as much as I can, but isn't there a point of diminishing return?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the point I wanted to make sure we understood was that you can get a really good, impactful, and great video for that low end budget if it's done right and produced in terms of quality and content. You can get a really good video for that $1,000. Now, if you spend $50,000, my gosh, it ought to look better. It ought to look different than that $1,000 one did. It ought to look a lot different than the $1,000 one did.
Yeah, I'm thinking that one I'll put in the Sundance Film Festival.
But you know what your budget is. Find out what can you do for me for this much money.
And what I'm hearing you say is don't just discount your ability to include professional video production in your marketing plan until you talk to that professional. Don't discount it, and don't go in with a professional and dance around it. Just let me know. What is your budget? And I'll show you what I can do for you.
You'll save everybody a lot of heartache and headache, and I think develop a better trusting relationship with each other, and get to, if you have an example of a video that you really like, that you found or you've seen on someone else's website or on YouTube, and you can show that to the producer and say, what would it cost to do something like this? They can look at that and say, well, looks like they shot for 6 days on that, or they shot that in an afternoon.
Yeah. So they should be able to dissect it
and say, for us to produce something like that is going to cost this much money.
Okay.
And so that's another really good way to do it. If you've got a program that you like, show that to them and say, can you do something like this for me?
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
What a good tip. Okay, so what we have is a little chart here. Can you see it? So what Greg and I have done is created what would you use professional and what can we get by with our smartphone or any other even our iPad. Professional. You're going to want anything on your home page to be professionally produced. You really do. You can't afford for cousin Joe to do it, really. Because of the scripting, because you want it tight. It's the most important page on your website, and you want to just bring them in. So we've got a homepage welcome, a homepage sizzle reel. And for those, if you don't know what a sizzle reel is, it's a story about your company that usually includes 2 to 3 testimonial of your clients. So they would be present in the professional production. Promotional, any kind of fancy promotional or training series. Like, I don't know about you, I've taken training online, and if it's not good video, I'm not buying it.
For sure. Now there is the caveat to this, and we have it over here in that tip series where sometimes, I guess what we're doing right now is a little bit of a training video, and it's working out okay for a do-it-yourself. Yeah. So there are exceptions to the rule.
I was a little nervous about bringing him here with my smartphone and my little tripod. Thank you.
We're doing okay.
Yeah. So yeah, tip series. I put it twice. But like my weekly blog post or a blog post, I can do a vlog with my DIY.
Well, and it's authentic. right? Yeah. It's really you, who you are. When you get a following and people know you, they look forward to seeing you.
Right.
There's a few sites that I go to where I know who the person is in that video that's going to be showing me this product that I might be looking for. And, you know, I like seeing, should I say,
yeah.
And, you know, there's Revzilla. I ride motorcycles. And there's a website, Revzilla, and they have a video about every product they sell, and they sell thousands of products. And there's Anthony on the Revzilla website. And I love listening to Anthony tell me about
a story, usually.
About a helmet or a boot or a tire.
Yeah. So as an enthusiast, you'll listen to any, there he is.
But he talks fast, to the point, and those videos are not long.
Right.
I don't want it to be long.
And they're still produced by him.
And they're high end do it yourself, but they're high end do it yourself.
Okay, so there's that middle ground too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. I just think we've covered so much, and I just thank you so much. Now,
glad I could do it.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and download this book, this will take you through 16 ways that you can improve your online presence starting now. And it's a free gift. We will post in our Facebook page how to download that again. And Greg, we want to thank you for clarifying all of this for us. If you want to see Greg's beautiful work, his website is www.handstandproductions.com. And feel free.
All one word.
All one word, handstandproductions.com. Feel free to reach out to Greg or to me, and I can hook you up with Greg if you have a video program in mind for your business. He'd be happy to chat with you about that. And please go ahead and leave your comments. Was this useful? Do you have any lingering questions? We'll be happy to answer them. Greg is going to be here to answer. He lives close by. He's my #1 guy for our professional video production. So what else? Let's see. I'm Lee Aldridge, co-founder, Soul Story Creative. We're a branding agency that provides websites that work and training for you to do your own, if that's the way we need to do it. Join us next week. We're going to have our last show of this series, Dare to Be Seen, and it's going to be the fun one. As if this wasn't fun. It's all fun.
It's going to be hard to top this, I'll tell you.
I know, won't it? Well, we're going to be talking about colors and logos and design.
Ooh.
You might want to get
I like all of those.
I know. Yeah. Isn't that the fun stuff? Yeah. It's what we always want to start with. People come to me, they're like, I want a website. And I'm like, well, what are you going to put on it? I don't know. What are you going to say? I don't know. So now that we've covered all the foundation work, get your crayons out, bring some paper, and we're going to have fun next week. So I hope you tune in next Wednesday, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, for another free training on your brand journey. And Greg, thanks again.
Thank you.
This has been great.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks.